Moment of truth is, let's see. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. So, it's been a week since I've done a water change. I am slowing the water changes down a little bit, and I'm doing something a little bit different. So, I always have my little trusty calendar, okay? I like writing things down on a piece of paper, and as long as this doesn't get lost, I'm good to go. Sometimes when I do things, I write down, whatever I have to write down, and then even sometimes I write down in the future, so I already know a month from now I have to recalibrate my Hanna salinity checker. But anyway, I think keeping a small calendar is very important. You'll never lose track of things as long as you write it down. If you have something written down on a program on your phone or the computer, what happens if you lose that and you can't remember when you last time you did a water change or you test something? I recommend using a calendar. So while I'm getting ready to test my water, I figured I'd show you guys what I'm putting in my tank. So these are the only things that are going in my tank besides when I do a water change. I'm using the Fritz RPM. So the only thing I feed my fish is three things. I don't feed them anything else at this point so far. But I am feeding them the PE mysis. I really like this stuff. This has like bigger size mysis shrimp in it. They really go nuts for this. And they really go nuts for the spirulina brine shrimp. Now, I know brine shrimp isn't the best way to feed your fish. They don't have a lot of, good things in it for them. But the spirulina, if you have a finicky eater, highly recommend that. Give that a shot. Sometimes I'll do just 2 cubes of this a day. Sometimes 2 cubes of this. Maybe the next day I'll do 1 cube of each. And then I'm going to start doing probably daily little tiny pieces of this for the 2 tanks. Those are the really only fish that eat this in my tank. Sometimes if a little tiny piece falls off and wanders around in the tank, one of the chromis might suck it up real quick, but these are the only 3 foods I'm feeding my fish at the moment. Now we get the food. Let's get the foods out of the way. So now this is the only stuff I'm putting in my tank. I am using the ESV b-ionic 2-part. I'm using the alkalinity and the calcium. I am dosing both daily by hand, not using a doser. I'm doing those both daily. I have created my own little chart for these that I found that worked. It's kind of tricky. There's a lot of different ways to calibrate. There's different ways to, figure out and determine how much of each you have to put in your tank by testing. Actually, what I did that I found out that works perfectly is my tank holds 77 gallons of water exactly. And I looked at calculators and they were kind of off. So I did my own little method. I actually used the BRS calculator. And what I did is I found that if I type in 65 gallons and do the calculation of what my alkalinity is and what I want to get to it, it actually works perfectly. So I wrote it all down. If it's 7.5, how much do I have to add? If it's 7.85, how much do I have to add? I'm keeping my parameters as close to 8.5 for the alkalinity as possible. Magnesium, I like it over 1400. Calcium, I like it over 450. So I don't really go crazy for those two, but the alkalinity right around 8.5 is perfect for me. I am dosing equal parts of the alkalinity and the calcium. So also the other thing that I am dosing in the tank is acro power. This isn't really necessarily for only acros. This does have the amino acids in it that I've been recently starting about a week now. Also, every other day I am using the Mikes Phyto. Love this stuff. And maybe twice a week I just mix this in with some tank water and pour it in the tank. I don't spot feed any of my corals anymore. I'm done with that. I'm done getting my arms in there and turning off all the power heads and all the flow and everything. If a coral wants to eat and they get a piece of food or they suck one of these things in, that's all they're getting. So, got my food, what I'm feeding the fish. Essentially, this is what's going in the tank because, I don't rinse the food, but I do strain it in a little strainer and get most of the junk out. And then the Acro Power, the Mikes Phyto, the Oyster Feast, and the ESV b-ionic 2-part. Now, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to test all my parameters, because I was thinking of doing a water change, and I was like, you know what? I am putting stuff in the tank that helps dose, nutrients, aminos, all that stuff, food. So I don't want to take water out if I don't have to. I believe that if you test your alkalinity, your magnesium, your calcium, your nitrates, and your phosphates. Now, yes, these are all different, but I love Salifert for testing my main 3 components. I've recently tried the Nyos for nitrate. I've tried a lot. API, Salifert, Red Sea, and I found that the Nyos is my favorite. I love it. Highly recommend it. Give it a shot. You will love it. And of course, really, if you're testing for phosphates, there's only one thing that you should be using, and that's the Hanna checker. I am using the ULR, right? The ULR. This is the one with the parts per billion. I did take a screenshot and locked it in my phone in case I want, for when I want to do the conversion. If I lose that screenshot, it's very easy to just go on Hanna's website. You can find the conversion chart. So I'm going to test my water real quick and see if I even need to do a water change. So I'm not going to show you guys the boring part, but what I will do is, as soon as I'm done, we'll come back and we'll see what my parameters are and if I need to do a water change. Look at the Nyos nitrate test kit. It's awesome. Let's see. All right, let me do the equation and see what it is. All right, so all the testing is over. Now, the Hanna checker does come with these little glass bottles. So after I clean them out really good, I like to let them air dry overnight, and the same with the Nyos. It does come with the little glass bottle, so clean it out real good. Might be a little bit of moisture in there because it's hard to get paper towel in there. So I let it dry overnight. That's just how I do it. Let it dry. Then the next morning I'll package it up. Now, let's look at the results. I'm extremely happy with them. Now remember, I am not using any type of GFO. I'm not using Phosguard at the moment. I'm just feeding the fish daily, 2 cubes a day, and like I said, a little sheet of nori every day. And nitrates are at 5.0 still. The phosphates are at 0.04, which is a little lower for me. I kind of like it to be a little bit higher, like 0.06 is good. And then alkalinity, calcium, and magnesium, I couldn't get any better than that. 8.35, 450, and 1425. Those are all really spot on for me. And if you look, so the last time I did do a test was a little over a week ago. Those were what my results were. That was when I was keeping my alkalinity at 8. I have since brought it up to 8.5. I did do a 10-gallon water change exactly a week ago. So probably what I'll do is I don't have to do a water change. I don't have to waste any RO water. I don't have to waste any salt. What I'm putting in the tank, I think, is good enough for the system itself, including the corals and, all the little critters in there that need all these elements. I'm extremely happy. I'm going to let these phosphates stay at 0.04, and probably by next week when I do this full test again, they might have come up to that 0.06, and if they're below 0.08, I'm not doing a water change. So there you have it, guys. What would you do? Would you be okay with these numbers? Would you still do a water change? I'm not going to do a water change till next week. So, all right. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope this was a good video. I don't know. I never did any full setup like this. I've done it here and there, but that's it for now, guys. And I will see you on the next one. All right, I just want to thank you guys again for stopping by. If you did like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And while you're here, hit that little crab icon to subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell for any future videos or updates. And in case you haven't seen these 2 videos, you might want to click on one and check it out. Again, thanks for stopping by.